Well, hello everybody. This is Edward Valancourt here, coming to you from San Antonio, Texas. It has been a long time since I have done a video here on YouTube. I actually used to have several videos out there on my YouTube channel, and I took them down. It was on the started a series on the Book of Revelation, and some people were viewing them, and I thought, well, I'm just not satisfied with what I have out here, so I took those videos down. And what I'm going to do is, I'm not sure yet whether I'm going to do a verse by verse study on that and post them, or whether it's going to be more of a commentary. Of course, with a verse by verse, it'll be very long, whereas a commentary will be much shorter. But at some point in the future, I'm going to do that again. So be looking for those. Not sure when, but soon. The reason I'm out here today has nothing to do with anything on the book of the Bible, but something that's been a concern of mine, and that's timeshares. Now, I've seen a number of videos out there on YouTube with people not recommending them. Some of them have experienced some horrors on those, and I commend all those who have spoken out against them. So I thought I'd do a video as well, stating, why I don't recommend a timeshare. We had one years ago, and I definitely don't recommend timeshares. They are a scam, and a lot of shady deals with those. So let me tell you our story. That's my wife and myself, about our experience with that. And it all started, it was 8 years ago. That was the year 2013. We had just moved to San Antonio, Texas. And even before we bought a house, we were out in downtown San Antonio one day, and somebody presented us with what you call a vacation package. Of course, that's what it was called, the vacation package. It was from Club Wyndham. And, we signed up and went on a bus and went to this place. And, of course, they made it all sound good and everything. And believe me, these people know how to appeal to you one way or another. And, of course, they looked at it that I was active duty military and that I like to travel. And I really wish about halfway through the video that we were presented that I just walked out, because it was then that it was clearly called a timeshare. And believe me, I felt sick to the pit of my stomach, and I wish I had walked out just then. I know the salespeople would have been very pushy to pressure us into buying the timeshare, but unfortunately, my wife and I gave in. Well, it wasn't long after that we just felt like, oh, we made a horrible mistake here, and we just didn't feel good about it. Well, we should have trusted our instincts, our gut feeling, because timeshares indeed are a scam. You find out a lot of stuff later on that you're not told in the presentation. Of course, you're stuck with an extra amount of money that you owe. It's it's really an extra mortgage, is what it is. But the problem is, unlike buying a house, which is an investment. Now, an investment is where you buy something and then you go to sell it. You get some money, you make money on it. Like, say, a house is an investment. Let's say, for example, you buy a house and it's worth 150,000 when you buy it, and let's just say 10 years down the road you go to sell it and it's worth 250,000. Well, you're going to make some money on that. So that is an investment. And you're told about a timeshare that is an investment. Well, it's not. It's not like if you try to sell it, which I'll talk about that later about trying to sell it. It's not like you make money on it. At least if not if you owe, and really you don't make any money on it because it's a hard sell. I'll talk about that in a moment. So a timeshare is not an investment as they tell you. Now, what is a timeshare? It's where you get this package. They call it a vacation package, but it's where you're taking out a mortgage on a resort or resorts where you can go. You're supposed to go anywhere. It could be generally within the United States, or I think it can even be overseas as well. And it all sounds good, but I like what Dave Ramsey said a while back regarding a timeshare, is that why would I want to pay for a hotel room or resort, 20 years in advance? And that's so true. And the problem is that I've found with the timeshare is that you're paying, money up, per month to pay off this mortgage, which is an extra, financial burden. But then when you try and make, vacation time, you have to look at what's available out there wherever you want to go. And you have to look at, see what's available, and then, hopefully that time slot is open for you. Now, sometimes it can be very frustrating. Sometimes you have to make it so far in advance that it's like, and if you have a job, then it's hard to put in for vacation time that far in advance. And that was one of the frustrations I had with it. We actually never used our timeshare as a result of that, and because we wanted to get out of it so quickly. But you have so many points with a timeshare, but then on top of that, it's not like you can use all those points for like a flight and a rental car and all that. You wind up paying more money on top of that out of your own expense besides using points. So it's not good from a value standpoint. And I found out not long after getting into the timeshare that I talked with somebody, and it's such a bad deal because you could be staying at some resort and somebody right off the street could walk in, stay the night or a couple of nights and get a far better deal. So from a value standpoint, it is horrible. But it puts a lot of strain on you. Now, the worst part about a timeshare, actually a couple of things, besides financial burden, is that you also have what you call maintenance fees. Now, with a timeshare, you take an investment and you just keep paying into it. Eventually, you'll get it paid off. That's one thing. But a maintenance fee is, as somebody once rightly said, is like the mortgage. I'm sorry, not even a mortgage, but a loan that's never paid back. And the maintenance fees are low initially. You could be paying 35, maybe 40 bucks, at first. Of course, what you're not told in the presentation or the salesperson, that's how shady it is that these maintenance fees wind up going way up. Sure, you could start out 35, 40 bucks, but then it goes up and up, and next thing you know, you could be paying $200, $300 or more. And of course, that's more of a financial strain. And someone even once said too that with the maintenance fee, let's say for example, there was a resort in Florida, because Florida I know is known for a lot of storms, really bad storms. Is, let's say a certain resort gets heavily damaged, and as a result is not inhabitable for several months. Well, who's going to wind up paying for the damage? You, right out of your maintenance fee. And that, like I said, that's where the money goes up. And they're going to tack it onto you. You know, you never go there. You might not go there. They'll tack it onto you to pay for the damaged resort to get it up and running again. So the maintenance fee, like I said, is just gets to be astronomical. So shady deals, timeshares are just simply not worth it. Like I said, it's hard to get a good time slot oftentimes. And the other problem I had too is that my wife and I did not have kids at the time, but of course we were shown the nicest rooms. But the thing is, if you have a family, yeah, each room that you stay in may have a TV and all that, but is that really what you want for a family? What happened to true family time when you are all together? I wouldn't want a TV in each room. Just say, hey, kid number one can watch TV here, and kid number two can watch TV in another room. I want true family time where we're all together, and it could be watching a movie, or it could be not having TV on at all. Playing games together. And so I thought, who wants all those niceties? But the question is, can you get out of a timeshare? It's very difficult. It can be done. First of all, I want to get to it about selling a timeshare. Can you do that? Good luck on that. We tried it. At one point, we thought we had a buyer, which I was shocked at. But then, the person was keeping in contact, and all of a sudden stopped contacting us. And I finally had to text the person and say, "What's going on here?" And the girl says, I'm sorry, but she says, my husband lost his job. Now, that may be the truth. I can't prove that. Or that it could have been just their way of backing out of the timeshare, but not saying that, hey, we're just backing out. I can't prove that. But that's what the girl came up with, that her husband lost his job. I don't know. But you're not going to be able to sell a timeshare. The market is flooded with people who want to sell timeshares, and it's just not going to sell. Now, I've seen a lot of advertisements for getting out of a timeshare. My wife and I did do that. Now, I would love to hear some comments on how it worked out for you, because we did get out of the timeshare. But it's one of those things, of course, the phone calls came in, from the timeshare company. It was Club Wyndham. And, demanding payment. And we were warned about that. Now, the company we went with, and I can't remember who it was. Of course, I sent letters in. And then eventually, when I tried logging on, username and password for the club, it just one day I couldn't do it anymore. So I contacted the company and said, well, I can't log in anymore. And that's when the company, told me, okay, well, you're out of your timeshare. Now, my only problem with that is that I found out later on I was left with an outstanding balance. So I thought to myself, I could have just stopped payments, which is really what I did, because I was told to do that. But I didn't have to go through a company to do that. So I'd be curious to know from viewers what happened when you got out of the timeshare. Were you told that you don't have a remaining balance, that it's been canceled? What my wife and I eventually wound up doing is we did have some other debt that we needed to pay off. At the time, we were in a pretty bad financial crunch. We went through a company called Clear One Advantage to get some debt paid off, and a Clear One Advantage representative told us that, oh, you had this outstanding balance through Club Wyndham. And at first, I just didn't want to deal with that. I said, nah, I don't want to deal with that right now. But the representative was insistent, saying, you need to get that outstanding balance paid off. Now, we were fortunate in this case that when a settlement came along regarding Club Wyndham, Club Wyndham actually did a very low settlement versus what we really owed. Now, that doesn't happen all the time. Even the Clear One Advantage representative told me that you were, regarding me, saying you were very fortunate that it was a low, amount as far as the settlement. That might be one route to go if you're considering that. I'm not saying that works for everybody. It worked for us. Well, we just did a settlement, and there's no more outstanding balance. So, like I said, I'd be curious to know from viewers out there whether or not when you got out of a timeshare, whether or not you still had a remaining balance and it was just floating out there, or whether you were told, okay, you're out of the timeshare and your balance is zero. Like I said, the company we went through, they just told us, yeah, you're out of the timeshare if you can't log in anymore. But then we had a remaining balance, so I'd just be curious to know. But please don't get involved in a timeshare. It is a scam. You're better off just figuring out better deals with getting, going to a resort, if you can even afford it. Or just a cheaper, hotel, or, a better package. Really directly, perhaps with the hotel. Like I said, timeshares are just, they're a bad deal all around. You have so many points on each time you go to a place, but then you still have to pay money up front. So, like I said, it's not an investment. Unlike a home, which is an investment, a timeshare is not. And you simply won't be able to sell it if you want to try to do that. Unless for some reason you just pay it off and then sell it maybe for like $1 or something, but then you're not going to make anything on it. But your best bet is, and this is what I'm pressing here, if you're thinking about a timeshare, think again, because it's not an investment. Even if you have the money, it's a bad deal. If I were a rich millionaire, I wouldn't even consider this, because it's just that bad of a deal. So, just wanted to put my 2 cents worth out there regarding timeshares, our experience. For us, like I said, it was 8 years ago as of this recording. And that was the year 2013. This is now 2021. So, please do not go for a timeshare, because they are just simply a bad deal. Thank you all very much for watching this video, and I would welcome any comments below, and especially your experience, if you had one, with getting out of it. Did you still have an outstanding balance? Because as I said earlier, we did, and it wasn't until we went to Clear One Advantage, when we had to pay off other debt, that we also did a settlement with regarding Club Wyndham. And like I said, for us it worked out. But I'd like to know, what happened with you. Did you have a remaining balance after you went through somebody to get your timeshare canceled? Or did they come back and tell you that your balance is zero? Thank you all for listening. Have a great day.